In this video, we're taking a look at Pink Studios quarter scale Cloud statue. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dylan, and we're doing a new series that I'm calling Figure Friday. Something you may not know about me is I love anime and video game statues. Specifically, I collect 1/4 scale mostly. I have some others, but I wanted to share those with you guys and do some reviews on all of these statues. We're gonna start today with this guy right here. To start off with some of the statue specifics, this is a resin statue, so it's nice and heavy, and it is created by Pink Studio. Most of these resin statues are going to come unlicensed. Square Enix is notorious for being difficult to have with licensing and partnerships, and they ended up being really expensive when those licenses are put out. You'll often see those in the Play Arts line, but they are usually around the 1/7 to 1/6 scale figures, jointed figures, and these are going to be resin statues. So today, Pink Studios came in, they created this cloud statue. Is it the best cloud statue on the market? We'll talk about that a little later. First, let's dive into some of the details of this guy. Right off the bat, he is a 1/4 scale statue, so he's nice and big. He stands at 62 centimeters tall, 40 centimeters wide, including the width of the sword, and 20 centimeters deep, which is about the diameter of the base. We are going back in time today. The statue was released in 2021, but I love this Cloud statue. I think it's a really awesome representation of Cloud. I think the details are pretty spectacular. But I wanted to show this statue to you guys as I'm going to walk through my entire Final Fantasy line in subsequent videos. So I wanted to start with Cloud. If you're able to get him back in 2021 for retail cost, you probably paid right around the $540, $550 mark. In the aftermarket now, this guy is going for somewhere around the $1,100 mark, so his price has gone up due to limited stock. There's no deluxe version of the statue, so he's really easy to put together, and you don't have a lot of choices because it is how it is. He does come with an extra commemorative coin that you're able to display in a little stand next to him, but other than that, it is a traditional museum pose with one option only. If you're gonna get this statue today, you're probably gonna have to buy it secondhand, either off of Facebook Marketplace or a reseller like eBay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pose for this statue. This is a pretty traditional museum style pose. It really showcases Cloud's confidence and his arrogance. He's standing with his chest out, sword on the shoulder, a little bit cocky, exactly how you think Cloud would look straight from the game. Now this design for Cloud pulls from the Final Fantasy VII Remake series, so it is the more modern version of Cloud. You are getting the more detailed pauldrons and gauntlets, as well as the updated soldier outfit. He is standing in that traditional 1997 victory fanfare pose, which is really reminiscent of the original game. This is a pretty simplistic pose, but it does exude a lot of confidence. It makes you think that Cloud really believes he was a soldier for Shinra. Now with the 1/4 scale lines, it does become difficult to have more action-y poses. Museum poses are often what you get, but once you start getting more dynamic, the statues get bigger, the bases get bigger, and it becomes more difficult to pull off. You're often gonna see museum style for most of your 1/4 scales. Every now and again, you'll have one that's a bit more dynamic. It's pretty traditional to see this upright pose. If we take a look at the base, it's a pretty simplistic gray and gold design. It's got the original logo meteor on top right at Cloud's feet, the Fenrir logo hanging off the front, and then the Shinra logo on the backside. If you toggle that switch on behind the Fenrir head, those materia do light up bright green. It adds a lot of ambiance to the base and really takes it up a notch. There is an additional girder on the back of the base as like an add-on piece. I don't think that this piece was very necessary. It feels a little bit out of place, and if it were up to me, I would say either get rid of it entirely or add a bunch more environmental pieces. I don't think having one was the right choice, as it feels a little bit out of place. If we take a look at the sculpt and likeness of this piece, I would say this is by far the best Cloud statue on the market. The face sculpt, the hair, the body, and the proportions, they are top tier when it comes to capturing the personality and the look of Cloud. The skin painting is extremely detailed. It looks like you can see the life underneath the skin, not just the pale or peach tone added on top of a piece of resin. It really looks like this statue could come to life. This statue is extremely detailed in all of the clothes and all of the wrinkling, especially in the huge baggy balloon pants. The shadowing, the highlighting, it is fantastic on all of the accessory bits, all the way down to his boots and all the way up to his eyes. If I could make one change about the eyes, I wish they were glass eyes. Glass eyes always look a little bit more realistic than painted eyes, but I will take these, they do look fantastic. The textures on this piece are phenomenal. The shirt texture looks like woven cotton, the pants look like denim, and then you get into things like the pauldron and the arm guards, which actually look like real metal. The paint applications on these take the details to the next level. When you take a look at the pauldron and the gauntlet, it really looks like you're seeing real rust on top of metal as it's aging and being weathered through battle after battle. The fabric almost has a soft texture to it. All of the leather bits really have that nice leather texture, which differentiates those from the other pieces of clothing. Last but not least, let's take a look at that Buster Sword. It is fantastically huge, and it of course looks like it has been through the ringer as well. Use brings about wear, tear, and rust, and we all know that's a real waste, but Cloud has no shame in using this Buster Sword in his battles. We talked about it a little bit already, but let's move on to the paint and finish for this statue. The skin looks so realistic. It really has a lifelike feeling to it, rather than just a flat and dull, lifeless pink or peach. This one feels like there's blood running through his veins, there's movement in there, and it has a look of realism that's hard to capture in a lot of statues. The fabric, of course, looks great. The difference in textures and highlights and shadows, they really pull this piece together. The armor's got this shiny metal finish to it that really makes you feel like it is a different material than the rest of the statue. And as mentioned, the wear and tear add an extra level of dimension to this statue. If you look back at Cloud's head sculpt, his hair looks fantastic. The hair's individually sculpted, and the shading inside the hair brings a lot of depth to it, and it doesn't give off like an old school Dragon Ball Z effect, which is just all yellow all the time. You can really see the layers and the dimension and the shading of this statue. Now, not every statue is perfect, so let's talk about what I don't like about this statue. As mentioned, I would really love for this statue to have glass eyes. I know most companies don't throw them in until you get to the 1/3 scale. Every now and again you'll get a 1/4 scale with glass eyes, but that would kick this thing up to an amazing next level statue in my opinion. I'm also a little underwhelmed with the base. I don't think that it does a bad job representing what this statue is, and the light up feature is nice as well, but the girder seems out of place. I would just remove that entirely, or like I said, add a bunch more. What I would love to see is more of an environmental base, something that represents Sector 7, or the reactor, or his fight with Sephiroth. Something that ties this together so you know it's Cloud, rather than taking a look at it and seeing little bits and pieces that are Shinra-esque, but not having any more story to tell. Now, no statue is 100%, but I was really lucky. There were no real imperfections in mine. If you get down and dirty with a microscope, you could find details, of course, that don't line up, but from any normal viewing distance, my statue came out flawless, so I can't argue with that at all. Now, if we're going to make improvements to this statue, my only suggestions would be that environmental base we discussed earlier, something that really ties this statue together from top to bottom, as well as maybe a couple swap outs. It would be nice to have Cloud with his arms crossed, sword on his back, maybe a little bit more relaxed, possibly an alternate portrait. Something like that would also elevate the statue above and beyond just the standard museum pose that we got here. All right, that's enough for me. It's time for the money shot on this statue. That is it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the first Figure Friday. I hope to do a bunch more of these. Tell me what you thought below of the Pink Studio 1/4 scale Cloud statue. Is it the best Cloud statue out there? In my opinion, 100% the best Cloud statue on the market. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys like this video if you want to keep seeing more of these. Subscribe, as I'm going to be trying to post one about every statue in my collection, and I have a bunch. It's growing daily. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.